Welcome to The Daily Grind, a Bluff City Media daily podcast. Stepping up to the microphone is your host, Luke Hatmaker. Grab your favorite morning brew and let's get to the show.
Money, 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 money. Money, Jimmy Jackson, got that money. Welcome to the Daily Grind. I am your host, Luke Hatmaker, and man, oh man, it's a good day to be a Memphis Grizzly fan. I got Rusty with me, brother. How are you, sir?
I am good. It is a good day for a portion of the Grizzlies fan base. I can't wait to talk about those nerds here in a little bit. But Luke, in honor of you, I signed up for a theatrical performance last night about puns. Turns out it's just a play on words. Y'all go see Luke in his play coming up July 11th through the 19th. Is that right?
Yeah.
Y'all go see Luke in the play. It's not a play on words. It's not a pun performance. It's a real one.
That got me. It's topical and punny. It's very good, sir. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting to laugh that hard this early.
Jalen, I hope you brought your big boy pants today. Woo.
Oh, Jalen.
I hope you brought them.
Let's jump right into it. Everybody in the comments, thank you. We're going to jump right into it because there was a little bit of bookkeeping that happened. Let's just start with the first deal that came out of free agency yesterday. One, Jaren Jackson Jr., formerly number 13.
Yeah, no, this is vintage now.
Vintage. That is an artifact, brother. Signed a 5-year, $240 million max extension. Yes, I don't think we overpaid. I'm going to give you the floor for a minute. You asked me yesterday. You were like, "Is it okay if I have the floor for a second?" I was like, "Brother, you can have it for as long as you want."
I might be a bit insufferable this morning because Jaren is a defensive player of the year candidate and averages 20 points per game. He's an absolute bucket. He's been our Iron Man for the last 2 seasons, carrying this team, and was the odds-on favorite DPOY last year and a fringe MVP candidate, no matter what the nerds want to tell you, until he rolled his ankle. When he rolled his ankle, he was clearly not the same player after that. And so we got it done in the offseason that we could. If we had waited till next year and say he was DPOY, say he was an All-NBA, which he was also a fringe All-NBA player. At one point was first-team All-NBA as a lock before he turned his ankle. And so we were able to lock him up this year on a more team-friendly deal. It's 3 years. It's a 5-year, $240 million extension for a true unicorn, for a true GOAT. There's the people, like, watch out for those spaces on Twitter. They will give you brain rot because that's the only people on this planet who thinks Jaren is not a max player and not one of the best players in the play. He's a top 20 NBA player. And if you go look at any other fan base, anybody else that watches basketball, who watches basketball for what it is, and that's a true sport that has evolving different type players, Jaren is a perimeter big. He's more of a big 3 than he is a 5. And so ever since his rookie year, he has played with 2 feet behind the three-point line because he is a 7-footer who can get buckets. And so yes, he doesn't rebound like some of these other bigs, but that's not what he's been asked to do. Tell me you don't know ball without telling me you don't know ball. If you watch Jaren, expect him to be a rebounding big. Yeah. All I'm going to say is of the 16 playoff teams from last year, there were 16 of them. Now, if you rank those 16, the Memphis Grizzlies' 2 stars, Ja and Jaren, make up 48%. It's 46.8% of their cap. The only 2 teams who have their big 2 making less of their cap is the Heat with Hero and Bam, and the Thunder with SGA and Hartenstein. We could be like the Bucks, where 75% of their cap is tied up in Giannis and Dame. The Warriors, 73% tied up in Steph and Jimmy. We got this done when we were supposed to go get it done. And so we made the right decision. We didn't go do something goofy like get Jordan Poole or get DeAndre Ayton or Jordan Clarkson or some of these other things these nerds have been calling for. Again, the spaces can rot your brain. This was a no-brainer. 20-point-per-game DPOY candidate Luke is on our team for the next 5 years. We've locked up John Jaren through 27-28. It's a great day to be a Grizz fan with a Grizz fan with a brain.
Yes. And, man, it's also like he wants to be here. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't care how much you pay the man. We just spent an entire news cycle going through the motions about how nobody wants to come to Memphis, about us having to come to the defense of the city when we shouldn't have to. It's an incredible city. And we get a guy that's like, I remember when I first came here.
Yeah.
I want to be here
They
forever.
got me right in my feels, man.
Dude.
It had me feeling some type of way when I saw that. And I remember we drafted this kid from Michigan State, and he played in the post 1 year with Mark, and he was good at it. But what we found is he is a great transition basketball player, truly a point forward, and like can actually dribble and be 7 foot and shoot the ball. Like this is like, it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous, tired argument to sit up here and say that the Grizzlies would be better without Jaren, knowing that you're not going to be able to bring anybody back. Like clearly, like we see it. Zach Kleiman can't trade for anybody. So you want to let a true unicorn walk? Get out of here, man. Get out of here.
Yeah, that's like I just, and it's a good question to see how many all NBA or all defensive teams does he make in the future. I think
yes,
a lot.
He's going to make both.
Yes. I think he'll make at least both.
Mm-hmm.
I
think before he retires, he'll be a 5-time all defensive, all defensive team. I think he'll be a first team all NBA at least once, and he will be a perennial DPOY candidate, Luke. And I think he wins another DPOY.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think 5 all defensive teams is the minimum, to be perfectly honest. I think that he's that good, and he's already got 2, 3, 4. I mean,
he's DPOI, and he's a 2-time all defensive team. Again, man, if you want to sit here and you want to nitpick because he doesn't want to, he doesn't rebound or whatever, tell me you don't know basketball without telling me you don't know basketball. Because yes, could he rebound more? Sure. But that's not what he plays. It's not where he's at. He's rarely in the paint unless he's driving. And as far as like a dribble drive, like he will put your favorite player in a blender at 7 foot.
Yep. I just think that to start the day off with this deal, I just thought it was, to get this first and then just to keep getting the other deals. I loved this. I really love this.
Also, I love this. Shout out. We've got the real names back and no longer usernames.
I saw,
YouTube. Shout out to that. Shout out to my vintage Jaren jersey now, because we're going back to the McDonald's All-American 8 next year. And so I've got 2. I've got one that he signed at the MVP night down at the Forum that's going to get framed behind me. It's truly going to be vintage now. Again, I stand for Jaren probably more than most, but like, phenomenal deal by Zach Kleiman here.
I'm also thrilled that I love that he's changing his jersey. That picture of him in his All-American jersey is like really cool.
It just goes hard.
Yeah. And Wayno, I love you, brother. I don't think it's a conspiracy theory for us to get Bam Adebayo. I see you.
It's not.
I don't.
It's not. Listen, I'm with it. I'm tracking, but I would love to see it happen. But we will not have the cap room. The rest, anything else we do is going to be fringe, minor moves to create cap space. Buying out Jitty, buying out Cole Anthony if we can't get a spot for him. And so listen, Jalen, come on, brother, because I'm going to bring it right back. He is going to like all season. I promise you, I can handle it. And I promise you, I'm going to give it back when Jaren proves that he's worth this contract.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
For it, appreciate you being here, buddy.
Yeah, Jalen, I love it. So the next move, I guess the next domino that fell, the other free agency that we knew that we wanted to keep, Santi Alama signed a 3-year, $52.5 million deal. I imagine that this was a deal that a team offered him, and we were like, well, we got to match that if we want to keep him. I imagine. Yeah, this is a lot of money. I say it's a lot of money. It's only 11% of the cap, I think, which is
11% of the cap, 9% of the tax level. Like it's a small portion of it for a guy. Like we threw up his Darko rating the other day. Like he is projected to be better than Cam, Trey, and Naz Reid next year. And again, things happen. And yes, I know he's inconsistent, and he's literally a matador on defense, right? But like the guys, again, 7-footer. You talk about somebody who can rebound in the absence of Jaren not rebounding. Santi Alama, he had several double-doubles last year. And like he can go on a heater. Yes, he's inconsistent, and there's times where he's just mind-numbingly frustrating. But it's still not a terrible deal. We got him for $17 million, which is right about what we said he was going to go for between that 16 and 20 mark. Would have liked him cheaper? Sure. But you buttoned up a guy who had a market, right? Brooklyn wanted him. Detroit wanted him. New Orleans wanted him. Like there was a market for him. Detroit wanted him bad. And like, if you don't believe, like go look at the mentions on Sham's tweet, like the replies and quote tweets. There's a lot of upset Pistons fans that we got him at this deal. And I know you're happy. And Wayno, like the number one fan, he's got a cardboard cutout of Santi in his bedroom, is thrilled with this contract.
Man, and the graphic we threw up yesterday has made me, I don't want to say, it just made me rethink about Santi's worth. And like I said, I thought this deal was pretty
he's getting
darn
better.
good.
Like each season, he's getting better and getting better and getting better. Yes, it's a bit of a slow burn, but we're getting there. Like he's a lot better than what he used to be. I'm proud we re-signed Santi Alama.
Yeah, and that he's mathematically, the math backs up that he is on a trajectory where he is going to get better. And if you can lock him up for 11% of the cap, worth it. Yeah. The other big piece of news, which I love this, man. We had a conversation yesterday. Would you rather have Santi Alama or Ty Jerome? Why not both?
Got both.
Why not give me both? Ty Jerome signed a 3-year, $28 million deal. The fact that we got this cap for under $10 million a deal is this the steal of free agency? I mean,
yeah. This is where Kleiman was in his bag.
Yeah.
He shot 44% from 3 last year. Maggie and I went to the game in the FedEx Forum and watched him cook us. We experienced the Avalanche firsthand when they just buried us in FedEx Forum. He had 26 on us when we played at Cleveland last year on that TNT game. He talks shit, crap, whatever. Excuse me, pardon my language. He's cocky. He can go on a burner off the bench. Like, this is a great fit for Memphis. This is going to relieve a lot of what we gave up by giving up Desmond Bane. And so I want to summarize all this here in a minute as far as what it means for the team for next year. But I think Ty Jerome is going to be part of the Desmond Bane, void, right? That we're missing some of that 3-point shooting and that ability to go get hot and get streaky from 3. Ty Jerome, again, shot 44% last year. He had a bad series against Indy. I'm go ahead and put that out there. Yes, we understand. But if you look at the season as a whole, he was a top 4 6 man of the year candidate. And we just got him for $9.3 million a year. Like, come on.
And you want to talk about, I don't want to say he doesn't any sort of, you want to talk about a guy that is not afraid to shoot the ball. As opposed to one Luke Kennard, which we might talk about him later when we talk about the other deals that happen. Ty Jerome he doesn't shoot the ball too much like Dylan Brooks, but he is going to let that sucker fly. And when he shoots the way that he does, and you want to talk about someone who's gotten better, the math also backs up since he's been in the league every single year, he has gotten better and better and better and better. And this is someone who's been on 3 or 4 teams already and is still showing that he's capable of getting better.
Yeah. And we got him in a good culture fit from a good culture fit, right? Like he came from a team with high character and high culture, going to another team with high character and high culture.
Going back to college, Virginia. He was on that Virginia team.
Exactly. And so I think that this is a great move for Memphis. It gives us some scoring off the bench. It also gives us another point guard who can handle the basketball, unlike Desmond, who would dribble it off his foot, unlike Luke, who would become point guard and only look for assists. Like Ty Jerome, I think, is going to help us in the stretches when Ja is out. There's going to be stretches of the year where Ja gets hurt, banged up, and he misses some games. And I feel better about a platoon at point guard with Scottie Pippen Jr. for the defense and Ty Jerome for the offense next year.
Both of these guys can play next to Ja too, which is important.
We've seen Scottie do it. Ty can do it because he can just free range and roam and run off picks and screens, which we know Tomas loves a high guard screen. Yeah. He's gonna have a lot of open threes next year, and if he makes 44% of them next year, it's a good deal.
Give it to me. Another guy, the last deal, I guess we should say that we signed.
My favorite one.
Cam Spencer, baby. Des said, Des retweeted or on Instagram, he was all the deals signed. He was supporting his guys. Love Des. We'll talk about him more later. He said, this MF are crazy. Talking about Cam Spencer, that was all he said. 2-year, $4.5 million. I
love it. I love it. It gives us some crazy. It gives us some psycho. Like I remember a Tuesday night in January when he was February when he was dogging Kevin Durant, the Kevin Durant, little Cam Spencer, tall Kevin Durant, and he was jawing at him bar for bar, word for word. Like I'm here for it. Give me we need crazy. We got it in Meshack, and I'm glad we invested in Cam Spencer here. We needed some edge, and that's what Cam Spencer brings. Again, he's the end of the bench guy. We're talking about the 9th or 10th guy, but if he could come in and give you a night where he gets you 13 when Ty Jerome is off or Ja is out, and he gets you 13 and 7. Then this $2 million a year deal is worth it.
And I mean, we talk about you don't necessarily need to free up that 2-way spot, but now you've got that 2-way spot freed up for Javon Small or
and Meshack.
You've got those, and then you can bring somebody, find a big or something. You've got your 15 spots, which
and flexibility.
Which let's talk about the roster right now. So where the roster, we'll get to the other moves after this, but I want to talk about the Grizzlies roster as it stands right now. All 15 roster spots are filled, if I'm not mistaken. You've got you've got Jaw, Jaren, let's say KCP, Jaren, KCP, Edie, and Jalen. Then you've got, let's say Cedric.
I think I'm gonna put up talking airdropping in my computer right now.
Cool. You got Cedric. You've got oh my God, Scottie Pippen Jr. You've got who did we just talk about? Santi. You've got Ty Jerome, and then you've got Jay Huff. Brandon Clark, and then you've got Jay Huff. You've got Gigi. You've got Vince. You've got Cam, and I'm forgetting one. But like those are your 15 spots. And we still need a good big fella. That is, I shout out Edward. You know, like when you look at this roster, the only spot that really worries me is another backup big, some sort of body, because right now you've got Edie, who's hurt. You've got Brandon Clark, who should be ready. Yeah, here we go.
Sorry, it took me a minute to get it up there. No, that one. Why is that one up there?
This one.
Yeah. There it is. Boom.
So this is what we're looking at. Man, I like this. So this is the new updated.
We're in the luxury tax, but we're not in the first apron. There's going to be some trimming of the fat, right? Like there's a good chance we buy out Cole Anthony. Probably not going to get a trade destination for him. We're going to buy out John Conchar. So that's going to free up about $19 million. That's going to clear off a little bit for us. That it'll take that off, but we'll have to be paying a buyout, obviously.
Yeah.
I am also okay with knowing that we're going to platoon the 5. I know Edwards calling for a big, and I think we probably go get like a 2-way big, kind of take a flyer, maybe like on a Jay Huff if he's not around, if we buy him out. But also, like, there's a world where your starting lineup on opening night is Ja, Jalen, KCP, Jaren, and Brandon Clark. And if we know anything about Brandon Clark, he is going to play hard. He's going to hustle. He's going to play winning basketball minutes. And so personally, like if season started tomorrow, I would be just fine with platooning Jaren and BC at the 5, because Jaren's still going to play minutes at the 5. He's going to be that stretch 5 that spreads the floor so that Ja can drive. There's going to be opportunity for Brandon Clark to get minutes at the 5. And then when Zach Edey's healthy, like I'm projecting him to be in December, we'll be ready to roll at that point with our 3 centers being Edey, Brandon Clark, and Jaren in that order.
Yeah. I mean, that's not bad. I'm okay with it. And like, I feel safe with that platoon of gentle fellows.
Also, we've got a guy, Armando Baycott from North Carolina that's been balling in the G League. Why not? Maybe he's the third 2-way spot, right? Like you get Small and Meshack. We let Zion go. You bring up Armando Baycott, and you've got another big there. He averages 18 points per game, 9 rebounds, 2 assists per game in the G League, as Wayno put up here. I mean, that's like we've got bigs on hand that we can give it a shot and see what happens. Yeah, I like it, man.
The only other option that I would consider as, is you go sign someone with a vet minimum. That's the only thing that I think would be. And you look at all the centers that have gotten scooped up. You know, I mean, a lot of the free agents, they're gone. You know, you look at who's left, and you know, maybe you get. I like Larry Nance Jr. You get sign someone for the vet men, and if you don't feel comfortable with this platoon idea in the front court, then sign you a vet men guy. It's okay.
I mean, there's going to be plenty out there. There's still a lot of guys that are out there that are unsigned.
Free agency just started.
It's a long season. There's going to be some trimming of the fat. There's going to be some other moves. There's going to be some things that can happen. I mean, there's guys like Thomas Bryant that we just saw from Indiana that's still out there that you could get on a cheaper contract. You know, there are other names that could step in. Bismack Biyombo is still available if we need somebody in a pinch. And so, like, there are guys that are going to be available. All that to say, I'm not worried about the center position. Again, you've got BC, you've got Jaren, you've got Baycott, you've got Jay Huff. We can platoon this thing and keep it rolling until Edey comes back in December healthy, and then you get your true center back, and then you go back to Edey and BC at the center and Jaren playing there with that lineup of death where you've got, like, I see a future where there's a lineup of like Ja, Jalen, KCP, Santi, and Jaren, right? Or, you know, like there's lineups that can make it work. And so I'm not worried about the center position as much. We've addressed a lot of needs, right? Like we re-signed Jaren, re-signed Santi. We upgraded at the wing with KCP. Jalen Wells is going to take another step forward. You got Cedric Coward, who's going to play some minutes. And then, hey, you never know what's going to happen with Gigi and Vince. What if one of them have a bounce-back season, right? Vince is finally healthy, and he's that psycho from year one. Gigi gets his head screwed back on right, and he's a bucket off the bench. Like, there's still a lot of things that can happen. I don't think we're done. I think that we're going to make some fringe moves and some trades, but I think what you see today is likely what our roster is going to be like. And look, are we better than last year? Maybe not. Maybe this is not where we're at. And this is not a pass for Zach Kleiman, but this is just a reminder. It's a long summer. And like we talked about on the Anthony Sane show yesterday, the trade deadline is not until February of 2026. And so it's a long runway. So if you're sitting here like mad as hell that we didn't make any more trades, like, first of all, it's early, right? It's not even 8 o'clock yet. Day
one. It's not even day 2 yet.
No, it ain't even 24 hours in free agency.
24 hours.
And this is not a pass because I want Zach Kleiman, there's still work to be done to tinker with this team to make it better. But you have until February of 2026. Take a breath, get an ounce of hope, take the edge off, and rest, guys. This was an amazing first day of free agency. We won. We were one of the better teams. I think us and Atlanta are two of the better teams.
Yeah.
And that come out of yesterday. Houston as well, unfortunately. But this team's we got a long runway. Take a breath. Yeah. It's gonna be fine.
Breathe. Take your little breath, y'all. I'd say this is the best day one free agency Kleiman's had in a hot minute.
Shout out Edward. A lot of people were being very reactionary on Twitter. A lot of people were deleting tweets yesterday from some factions of the fan base. There was a lot of Jared Discord yesterday morning that when I went to look back to see, I kept some receipts, they were gone.
Oh,
I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Who would do
stand on business? If you're gonna put that stuff out there, stand on business.
I love it. We're gonna take a quick break, y'all. We're gonna come back. When we come back, we got a hot Grizz Summer. We're gonna debut numbers 9 through 7. Yeah, 9 through 7. Yeah, 9 through 7 on the top Grizzlies of all time. Right after this quick break.
Looking for an alternative to alcohol or conventional medicine? Check out Ounce of Hope, a Memphis-based dispensary with 2 local stores in the Sanderland Center and on South Cooper Street. You can get all the products you need in a location convenient to you. Each store offers an intentional shopping experience with dedicated bud tenders to answer all of your questions, from product selection and mushroom blends to our personal favorite, the Delta 9 seltzers. You gotta try the Peach Buzz. Try Ounce of Hope at either one of their 2 Memphis stores or at www.ounceofhope.com for convenient products shipped right to your door. Use the promo code BluffCity for 15% off any order, excluding sale items. Cannot be used in conjunction with other promotions or discounts. One use per customer.
At what point of your long time spending with Cedric did you realize you were coaching Michael Jordan? When did you realize? When did you realize you were coaching Michael Jordan?
Hey, he came into practice about a year and a half ago, and he had shaved his head completely, and the whole team was calling him Michael Jordan for about
real?
a week.
Really?
So you're not the first one right there. When I found out it was Memphis, I was so happy because he fits that personality. He's not high maintenance. He's all about hoops. It doesn't matter what ball we're playing with, what gym we're in. Let's go do this. Let's go compete. And so I think kind of that mindset that Jalen, I'm assuming, probably brought to Memphis, where he's going to be grateful and he doesn't need much. He's going to go compete and just be a dog from the jump.
Check out the Anthony Sane Show live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. only on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story.
And we're back. Ounce of Hope. Get you one. That's not their jingle. Ounceofhope.com. Y'all check them out. Promo code Bluff City. They're awesome. I said a lot of the Grizzlies fan base needs some. Heck, a lot of NBA fans need some after yesterday. Get you an Ounce of Hope, y'all. If you're watching the show, order online. Trilogy Tattoo's also great. Anthony St. Joe, also great. Whole mess of greats. Yeah, so check them out. But I digress. We got a little bit more to talk about on our show because we have been doing something this summer. It's a hot grand summer. I gotta forget my singing. This is what we call, that's not what I wanted, Hot Grizz Summer. We are debuting the top 15 Grizzlies of all time this summer. This is the list compiled by professionals. That's not true. It's us here at Bluff City Media. We have compiled this list to talk about. You know, I wanted to talk about this. Gives us something to talk about this summer. These are number 9, 8, and 7, 8, 9. I don't know what I did backwards. We're getting into the top 10, y'all. This is the meat and potatoes. Let's start with number 9. Desmond Bain, former Grizzly.
Yeah.
Just sent to Orlando. I will say, out of all the people that we polled a decent amount of people for this, and I found it, I just thought it was really cool that Desmond Bain was in the top 10 after just kind of having like a short, maybe it's not, he was here his entire early half of his career. And you could tell, like, just by polling us, he was loved here.
Yeah,
you know?
And again, he's one of the all-time greats from three-point line for Memphis. He's our best free throw shooter of all time, which used to be Mike Conley, but it's now Desmond Bain. Still showing Memphis love in all these interviews that he's been doing, and then like showing love to all the guys getting paid yesterday. Also now reuniting with Tyus Jones, who signed with the Magic yesterday. So you got Tyus and Des, but like Desmond brought like shooting for us after the Rudy Gays of the world have been gone, right? Like Rudy he had left and moved on, and we needed somebody to come in and shoot. And a few years later, here comes Desmond, just this humble, unheralded kid who was a great player at TCU, one of the best all time in TCU basketball. We somehow got him at a steal at the end of the first round as he kind of tumbled a little bit. And you can just tell, like that video I'm seeing in my mind of him getting drafted and just being like, I wanted it to be Memphis. I wanted it to be Memphis. You could tell it just like meant a lot to him to be joining this team. And so I'll be forever grateful to Des. He was the third of the Grizz Next Gen, right, that we drafted and we were able to get after, well, I guess technically the fourth if you count BC, right? We got him in that 2020 draft, and just like, again, Desmond was so good for the city. He hangs out at the zoo and Main Street when he's not on the court. If you know from those old commercials. I just think that he's definitely should have been a top 10 all time for sure. One of the best pure shooters we've ever had, and just a great guy. I miss him already. It's going to be weird seeing him in Orlando next year, but it's easier to root for him in the Eastern Conference versus going somewhere in the West.
No doubt. It's even easier to root for the guy too when, like, literally he spent an entire Instagram story shouting out all of his dudes, even the guys that don't play. He was shouting out Jake LaRavia. Like, he's a good dude. I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss that commercial about his favorite spots in Memphis. But number 8, Rudy Gay. Going back in time a little bit, you know, I appreciated this list because it was kind of like two different versions of this team. You know, Rudy Gay, that was like, for those of us who, you know, and a lot of people, I know Rudy Gay was a lot of people's favorite players for a long time. Your face.
I gotta be careful here because I know there's like Rudy has a cult-like following here in Memphis, and I got nothing against Rudy. He became kind of a liability towards the end. He would score 20 points, but it'd take him 27 shots. And I like Rudy. This is not bashing, but like there's a pattern, right? We traded Rudy, we go to the Western Conference Finals. Toronto trades him, they win an NBA title. San Antonio moves on, they go to the Western Conference. Like, there's a trend here, right? And it's not his fault. I like Rudy. I like what he did for this team. I appreciate it. When we drafted him out of UConn, I was a huge fan. But kind of like Dylan Brooks over time, I was just kind of like, you know, like, I'm ready. It's time to go. But again, nothing but love for Rudy Gay and what he did to this franchise. He kind of helped be that first shooter that we ever got. And again, no beef, no shade, but not one of, I think he was like 12th on my list or something.
Yeah, you had him lower than I think the rest of us. Jalen is absolutely for the longest time. The only idea of a 20-point wing that we were like, Rudy Gay's the only 20. Like, it was all we could picture in Memphis.
Now, I agree with here. Like, we've been searching for that Rudy Gay replacement since he left.
Yep.
We've been looking for that 20-point wing, that big, because Rudy was a big wing. And when, like I said, he was a bucket, man. And towards the end of his time here in Memphis, it took a few more shots to get those buckets, but he still got them. And so, yeah, we've been looking for that 20-point per game wing ever since Rudy Gay. He's the archetype that we've been looking for sure.
Dude, yeah. It's funny how, like, it's just funny when you're a small market, like Rudy Gay becomes the archetype that you've been like, if I can just capture that Rudy Gay again.
And who knows? You never know. We're still sitting. The other beautiful thing, and I'm sorry to go back, but like we still have that Phoenix and Washington lottery pick next year. Oh, yeah. Parker Fleming on Twitter, was it Parker Fleming? Yeah,
he simmed it, right?
Posted where we could go get one of the Boozer twins at 3 next year, and it's like, I see the vision. Right, we did all this yesterday. We still have that pick. Washington's gonna be terrible. Phoenix is gonna be terrible. Like, there's a chance that's a top 3 pick next year, and we could get a Boozer. But I digress. Rudy Gay, appreciate what you did, man.
Yeah, that's insane. And Slade Akimi's like good points. There was a lot of behind the scenes factors that contributed to the love or lack thereof of Rudy. Number 7, though. This is where. From here on out, it's all hitters, y'all. Number 7,
the GOATs,
Jaren Jackson Jr. And honestly, there might have been some math where he could have been 6, but coming just outside the top 6, Jaren Jackson Jr. Man, just think that $240 million extension. He's here for the long haul. I love this kid. I'll never forget watching when we drafted him. Loved him then. Watching him play in the bubble when he was the only one of those young kids playing in the bubble. There's so much that I love about Jaren.
Yeah, same, man. Like, I could go on and on. I already have at the beginning of the show. We'll bookend it because, like, I love Jaren and his game. He's truly a unique player. It's very rare that you get a guy who can be a DPOY, all defensive team candidate, and a 20-point per game bucket. He's 7 foot. He's got handles. That left-handed finish is just lethal at the rim. His dribble drive, the walk-up 3 at the top of the key in transition. There are just so many things that work well in his game that he is truly an all-time Grizz. Don't let the nerdy section of the fan base, skew your vision. This guy is going to go down as one of the best players to ever play in Memphis. He's still young. He's, been very healthy. Just like there's a lot of things to love about his game, and he's only 26. Like, there's still it's year 7 and he's only 26, and there's a ton of growth and maturity still to come. His game is evolving already, and I can't wait to see it fully mature in Beale Street blue for the Memphis Grizzlies through the 29-30 season. Get out of here if you hate that deal. Jaren is an all-timer.
Man, and not only is he already an all-timer, he has the chance to continue to move up this list. Like a lot of the guys you'll see in this top 6, they are cemented. They're not. If you've been keeping track at home, there's some names we haven't mentioned, and there's 4 of them in particular that have not been brought up. They aren't. Their positions are locked in. Jaren can still go up, man, and I think he will. I'm excited he's here for the long haul. And if you're not, get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Go root for the Pelicans.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, it's time to 2, brother. And I'm going to yield the floor to you because I have been excited about what you have been watching. So,
there's a documentary on Netflix called The Poop Cruise.
Poop Cruise.
And you've got to watch it. It's a story about the Carnival Triumph, and it lost power. It caught on fire, lost power, and was adrift in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico in 2013, I think it was. And I don't know if you know this, but toilets on cruise ships require electricity to work. And when they don't work and people are still using them, they back up. And then when the ship gets turned by a wave, what is down must come up. And there's it's awful. It's truly a nightmare scenario being adrift in the middle of the ocean on this giant luxury cruise with no AC, no working toilets, nothing. And they're drifting towards Mexico until they're not, and they're having to reroute and play. These people were on this cruise ship for 5 or 6 days with no power, no nothing. And there's an epic description of what it looked like in the toilets, and I will never never look at lasagna the same way again based on something somebody said. Go watch it. Netflix. Poop Cruise is less than an hour. Maggie and I literally sat there like this the entire time. Like,
hold on.
I just can't believe the stuff that's happening.
I didn't know it was less than an hour, brother. You got to leave. Anything less than an hour. Shoot, I'll watch that on my drive to work this morning. Poop Cruise.
The Poop Cruise on Netflix.
I'm not going to lie. It makes sense. I didn't, in my mind, I guess, cruise ships just had holes out of each room, and when you flush the toilet, the sewage.
That's what Maggie said. Maggie was like, just not go in the ocean.
That's
Like
what I
they
thought.
actually treat it. There's like a treatment. It's like one of the most sophisticated waste treatment centers in the world is on your cruise ship. Jalen, the one you were just on, the Sunrise has that, and it processes it. Well, it runs off electricity. When it can't do that, what goes down must come up, and it is like these people are like ankle deep poop water. Man, it was awful.
Man, Poop Cruise was almost the name of this show before we went to the Daily Grind. So I'm glad we walked it back. Poop Cruise. This is the only time of the year we will dedicate an entire Tube and Tuesday segment to poop. So thank you guys for sticking with us to the end. That's going to do it for our show today, y'all. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for sticking with this team through free agency, y'all. I mean, it's just, we ain't even 24 hours in. I imagine tertiary moves on the fringes are going to keep happening. We're going to be back tomorrow to talk about the moves that the Grizzlies didn't make like all the other teams. We might get Uncle Buck on here if we can drag him in.
Yeah. And I just want to say to Anthony's point, I had Jaren as number 3 on my list. Jaren was the 3rd best Grizz of all time on my list. But again, I'm a bit biased.
I love it. Who's today? You guys are tomorrow.
There might be on the lookout, guy. Anthony's saying it too. There might be a special edition $2 Sports Show dropping at 11 today if I convince Uncle Buck to come on here and talk. We both are itching to talk about it, and we were talking about something last night. And I'm like, hey, let's just do it. Let's drop a show on Tuesday. What else you want to do? So be on the lookout. There could be a $2 today. Otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow with a special guest from On the Wing, a Pelicans podcast, talking about what the Pelicans are doing, their draft, and why they gave up an unprotected next year to go get Derek Queen.
Oh man. Tune into that. I need to know what he's thinking. Everybody have a good day today, y'all. Remember these 2 things, just 2 little things. You go about your day. Remember to be a little bit weird and remember to smile. Bye, guys. We will see you tomorrow.